Well, collars. What is an option collar? Very simply, and again, I this is an old thing that I did for back in my client advisory days, but I updated it for the group and for you folks with us today. So here's a very basic example if you're not quite sure how a collar works. So let's start with this. The S&P 500 ETF did this yesterday. Here's where it was selling, okay? The expiration date here is about a year. What does this mean? That means that my option contracts are going to be live, if I want them to be, out for 12 and a half months unless a couple of things happen. I sell call options and I buy put options. I won't be able to stop and go over all the nomenclature, but just trying to give you the high level here because we'll be discussing this a lot in the club. So the calls are sold in a way that this is the most I can make, 770. That's a long way up from 648. And this is the least, I should say, the least I can sell the stock for. So I'm basically locking myself into a range. Okay, some people said to me, well, but what if the stock goes to 500 or 400, or the index in this case? This was at 480 at the bottom this year, 2025. So if it goes to 500, well, this thing's going to be worth 120 because you have the right, this little ticket, to sell it for 620. This is the key part of it to me because I can take some risk out of taking a risk. You receive money for giving up some of the upside potential. You can always buy more, okay? And you pay, and again, just an example here, but wouldn't always pay that much, but you do pay for the protection. No mob references, please. It all comes down to the bottom line here, okay? If it gets taken away from me, I can buy more or I can use options to get more exposure, but over 12 and a half months, 15% or so return, and exactly half of that, if it falls to 620 and I end up selling. It's a 2-to-1 reward risk trade-off here. Normally, I'm looking for at least 2-to-1. Very often, I will find 3-to-1, 4-to-1, I've even found 10-to-1. It happens sometimes. One other thing I want to mention with the collars, and I've talked about this a lot with the group. Can SPY in collar format, where you own SPY and you actively manage around it with options, can that be the biggest part of somebody's portfolio? Well, isn't that a lot of risk? No, I don't know. Not if you set a worst case and you cap your best case, you're locking into a range, but you can change that range around all you want. So that's the big question. Can it? Yes. Yes. I'm not saying it should or should for you, because that would be personalized advice. But I don't mind telling you that in addition, this is why it's called ladders and collars and roar. Oh my, what we're doing today. The ladder is, to me, something that can be the biggest part of my portfolio. I'm not you, you're not me, but as semi-retired 61-year-old guy who's been around this for 4 decades, I am looking at the bond market now. I'm looking at the markets globally, all markets, and saying, wow, a bond ladder is probably more attractive than it's been in a long, long time. And so is a simple core collar, if you will, on the good old S&P 500. And this is what I mean when I say it doesn't have to be that complex. Now, if you set this up and you ignore it for a couple of years, now you're taking a lot of risk. Risk management is not just buying put options or running the cash or using bonds alongside stocks. Risk management is looking at the whole thing and basically saying, all right, I'm less concerned about what the market does. I just want to get myself into a range of returns that I am comfortable with, especially on the downside. and then go from there. So everyone that we work with through the club is going to have a different spin for themselves on what we do, which is why a stock picking service is not what this is designed to be.